None Dare Call It Ordinary, the podcast that digs into the unusual, unorthodox, and downright unsettling beliefs found at the depths of the internet and the heights of paranoia. I'm your host, Dylan, and with me is the effervescent and ecclesiastical Brent.
Ooh, that's like a little biblical going on there. That's nice. You went straight.
Yeah, well, you mentioned in our last episode that you were training to be a minister in an earlier time, so I think,
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a long side tour, so.
Yeah, well, you're the prodigal son.
Yeah.
You step away from the robes or whatever your weird brand of Christianity had instead, and, it's like the Amish, what is that thing called that the Amish do?
Rammstein or something? Is it Rammstein?
Yeah. I don't think it's Rammstein.
I think it's Rammstein.
I think that's
their band.
Band?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Amish metal band, I think.
Oh, you might be right. But yeah, it does sound like. Yes, that's the Amish one. But you're doing your long-term Rammstein.
Yeah. I'll be like 70. I'll come back.
Yeah.
It's a good time to.
You'll be like Tolstoy, like he became an anarchist when he was like 83, and then he died a couple days later. Not impressive, if you ask me, but what do I know?
Right. So what are we talking about this week?
So I've been a research failure trying to get killing bugs together with my podcasting life. And so we decided we're going to take a 2-week break, I think, is going to be our general policy in between kind of major research heavy episodes. And this is a major one. We're getting really dark. We've been pretty light, Book of Revelations. I mean, that's just a game of Candyland.
Oh, yeah, it is.
We also had cancer quacks, destroying people's lives.
Right.
Easy stuff.
Yeah.
So this week, we've decided to get dark and to get mysterious. We're talking about crystals!
Hey, crystals!
Woo! Specifically, crystal healing is going to be our focus. And we kind of got this episode topic idea on accident. We were, all jokes aside, I think we were looking for something a little lighter.
Yeah.
We don't want to depress everyone all the time, just some of the time. And this kind of fell into our lap. This was a recommendation by super fan of the podcast and super friend of me, Perry Drew. Perry Drew, if you're out there, I know you're listening. There in Brooklyn, representing. I see you on those SoundCloud stats. I know you're there. I'm keeping track.
Don't try and hide.
I'm being big brother, both of us, keeping track of who's listening. We have some international viewers.
Ooh. Nice.
Which is pretty great. We've got a Canadian, at least one, but they only listened to one episode, so I assumed, they just didn't like it. So that's always good to find out. And we also have some German listeners,
right.
Which is pretty cool. So we're getting out there. We're spreading the word.
We haven't got the full 7 of the G7, though.
We haven't got the G7.
Yeah, got all of them,
which
are now our enemies.
Yeah, and Trump wants to bring Russia back to the G7, which, that doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be the G7.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Do we have any Russian listeners? We don't, do we?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Or not that we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine if some, KGB super hackers are actually listening, that they can probably get around the whole SoundCloud stats issue.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they're all listening. Maybe the NSA is listening. I would wonder why. That seems a gross misuse of taxpayer dollars and time.
Yeah.
We have nothing to offer, and everything we have to say is publicly available for free. Also in the news is, personal news, is we have microphones for the first time. So this podcast will no longer sound like garbage, at least not initially. It might still sound like garbage because of my audio engineering abilities or lack thereof, but we can no longer blame our equipment.
Yeah.
So I can really ratchet up the shame and guilt surrounding how our podcast sounds. I'm excited about that, as should everybody else.
Yep.
And so I've been, telling people that our next episode was going to be about crystals. And, I was just curious what people think, what people's opinions are. I like to know in advance, what the laymen think about these issues. And I think so far, one person has really summed up my attitude towards crystals, and that was my mom. I'm going to give this one to my mom. I told her, the next episode is on crystals.
Yeah.
And she said, and this is a quote, "I know nothing about crystals. It's all bullshit." And I feel the same way. We've been doing a lot of reading on crystals, and I know nothing about it, and I suspect it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I was looking through some blogs. There's endless blogs out there.
That is the primary source for the
Right.
crystal information, is the blog.
Yes, loving all those, different type fonts to go through. Yeah, there's this one blog. This is a good quote from The Stranger. It's a blog called The Stranger, and I like this quote. It says, "The only people I knew who believed in healing crystals were art therapists and quirky lesbian aunts." So that's, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. So a lot of people know nothing about crystals, apparently. So
Not ants, not lesbian ants,
Not-
only the quirky lesbian
quirky
ants.
ones. Right, yeah.
So the serious militaristic
Right.
lesbian ants. Or, if you're an ant as in, The Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
Probably not as into the healing crystals as you would imagine. All right, so let's begin with this topic, and we're going to start with some history. Turns out people have believed dumb shit about crystals for quite a long time.
It's true. So crystals were worn as jewelry, such as amulets, in antiquity, some as old as 30,000 years ago.
I should say right off the bat, this is a common theme, is jewelry.
Right.
Crystals are pretty.
Yeah.
No one's denying that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And we want to wear them. So if we can just add that they align, our sacred energies while wearing this pretty thing, it's like a twofer.
Two for
you
one.
could be spiritual and fashionable. And I think that's the main
I like
appeal
that.
of the crystal.
Malachite mines were discovered in Sinai that date back to 4000 BC. But I'm sure it probably shut down because some damn liberals who don't believe in clean malachite.
Yeah, the working class. They don't like the white working class malachite miners. God, they're just,
Bunch of
just
hippies,
keeping them down with their liberal policies. I looked up the malachite, and it's green.
Yep.
So it kind of looks like kryptonite.
Yeah, it does.
So actually, my theory is that it was they were probably shut down because these folks were in the pocket of big Superman. And, didn't want to offend anybody, any Kryptons.
I've actually seen a big Superman statue. It's in Metropolis, Illinois. It's like a real place. And it's a giant statue of Superman. Just want to get that out there on the record.
That's good. I like the statue of the imaginary folks.
I know. I like that too. But yet, John Adams doesn't yet have a statue. So,
That's right. You've
That's
been
great.
listening to the presidential podcast.
Yes, Washington Post. Thank you.
How far
I love that.
have
I'm
you
obsessed.
gotten on that?
I think I'm right up to Lincoln. So best possible president. And I'm right there. So I haven't listened to it yet. It just started.
Our primary fascist dictator president, Lincoln.
Yeah, big government, dictator. Come on. Why all people want was state
When
rights.
you get to Warren G. Harding, now
Oh, man.
that's an episode keyword.
I hope they play actual Warren G, the rap, for that. That would be good. I hope.
Is that, do I hear a pitch for the new Hamilton? For Warren G. Harding? Warren G. starring, I would travel to see that. I think I would.
Yeah, me too. All right. So crystals were first used for their magical formulas in the time of the ancient Sumerians. Also, ancient Egyptians buried their dead with quartz on their foreheads. The belief was that the quartz would help guide the dead safely to the afterlife destinations. And if this didn't work, they just tried Valium.
Yeah, Valium. See, Brent originally
I spelled
wrote...
that wrong.
Yeah, Brent originally wrote Valium, which I assumed... I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a typo for Valium, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't just being dumb on the podcast. And so I Googled it. Valium actually is a word, and here is what Valium is. Valium is either the whole or a portion of the fortifications of a Roman camp. The Valium usually comprised an earthen or turf rampart, the agger, with a wooden palisade on top with a deep outer ditch or a fossa. And that has nothing to do with the afterlife. So I assume we're not bringing in like really cryptic Roman military history into the podcast. Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, that's
episode.
coming probably. All right. So ancient Egyptians wore crystal crowns to denote enlightenment and to stimulate their third eye. Some wore crystals over their hearts to foster love, and Egyptian dancers wore rubies in their navels to enhance sexual appeal. So a ruby lint combo. Then,
yeah, I like it when get the ruby all linty.
Yes,
I also,
stuff.
people talk about body jewelry being weird now. I don't think anyone's putting rubies in their navel, so I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I think, the kids are all right.
So we go into Roman society. They're wearing amulets, and talismans of crystals they're often worn to protect their health, providing protection into battle and attracting things that would be considered desirable. So I just picture some poor sap that had to fight and, against a lion in like the gladiator games. He's just like begging for the crowd to please someone throw him a crystal.
Yeah, he didn't bring his own. That's the main mistake.
That wasn't his navel.
If I was there and a poor sap asked me for some crystals, I would throw him some amber.
Whoa!
See, it's fossilized sap. Get it? Oh. And I would really, that would be his last thought. Like, and then he would get eaten by a lion. So,
yeah.
I'm glad I could really stick it to him in the moment of his death.
Best time to do it. So, the crystal-tipped needles were used in acupuncture for healing in ancient Chinese culture.
Yeah, that's what I would like to hear.
Yes.
When I'm getting needles. It's like, don't worry, these are crystal-tipped needles. As soon as they hit one of your chakras or something, you won't feel a thing. Until then, it'll be terrible.
Right.
But, eventually it'll work itself out.
In ancient Greece, crushed hematite was smeared over a soldier's body before entering battle, as it was thought to make them invincible.
I remember you told me about this, and isn't that an easy thing to figure out? You could test. It seems you could test that whole thing out
pretty easily.
But I imagine there's some ad hoc. Well, you didn't. You got to get the ratio right, and you got to pray to Jupiter before you do it. There's a whole thing. Lots of ad hoc reasoning going on in ancient Rome.
Yeah, I'm sure it just made them look so terrifying. The enemy just ran away. Like, oh God, what is this? Not going to come near that.
We're invincible. We haven't lost once.
So the word crystal is thought to derive from the Greek word krystoulos.
Good pronunciation, by the way.
Thank you. Which meant ice. And until 1500s, many ancient cultures believed that stones such as clear quartz crystals were actually eternal ice that was frozen in the heaven and fell to earth. God, idiots. I mean, if they only know what we know now, which is that quartz protects your pets and also you while you drive. So these are things spoiler.
We can't blame them.
It's true.
For the, for
I'm a little harsh.
Lacking the knowledge we clearly have today. I loved learning about this because, there's a bunch of meth heads out there. They would love to get their hands on some eternal ice, if you told them that you can get some of that. And so I like that we're bringing back, because I imagine when meth heads call meth ice, they're not being true to the etymology of the word. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of reinventing it. So it's kind of cool. It's, cool. It's a circle.
Yeah, it's nice. So in India, crystals were also valued for their healing power. In the Hindu text, the Vedas, it references each stone's specific healing abilities. Also, in ancient Japanese cultures, scrying was a common practice, which is basically like looking into a crystal ball. So during the Renaissance, crystal healing was still accepted practice, but many in the sciences want to find out the processes behind this.
Science, they just don't want to have fun.
No.
These crystals make you invincible.
Yeah.
And, make you great in the sack. Why do we have to test this? It just works.
Yes, it just works. With the Age of Enlightenment, the practice of crystal healing fell out of favor for the most part in Europe. People got smart.
Yeah, I think we asked some Africans about whether people in the Enlightenment got smart. I think they would have a slightly... Let's go to the Congo. And let's see. Yeah, so I heard Belgians were really smart around this time. What do you have to say about that? I think they're going to have a different opinion.
Mm-hmm. Good point. So, enter the Idiocracy Renaissance in 1980. This is when the New Age movement really got going and started using crystal healing practices again, borrowing from some ancient ideas that we were talking about, chakras and auras and stuff.
A lot of our greatest ideas, the 1920s, which we've mentioned before, and now the 1980s. I think that was the twin peaks of our intellectual development as a species.
Yep.
We should really go back to those eras.
I agree.
All right, so, as Brent was saying, the 80s was really, where we really started going crazy with the crystals. Mm-hmm. And there was actually a New York Times article in 1986 about, the crystal mania that was going on. They called it the crystal bubble. A chunk of quartz, which would have, previously been just $1, it ballooned out to $10 or $12. But I don't like this assumption that this was a bubble. I think we simply just rediscovered the ancient wisdom about quartz, and then, it just jumped up in price.
Yep.
It's just an increase in demand.
Right.
Once we, people could cleanse the crystals before people couldn't cleanse the crystals.
Yeah, that was
so it wasn't worth much.
Yeah, it was a jump in technology.
It's a service economy. Mm-hmm. That's where the value's coming in. So right off the bat, I wasn't into this sacrilege about crystals and it being a bubble or whatever. God. But anyway, also in this New York Times article, there's a quote by one Dr. George E. Harlow. He was the curator of gems and minerals at the American Museum of Natural History. And he said, it's hot stuff. The Healie Feelies are making for a great market in quartz, and mineral dealers are having a hard time keeping quartz crystals in stock.
I want my doctor to start using that phrase, the Healie Feelies.
The Healie Feelies. That sounds like a medical pedophile.
Yeah.
That's something he's gonna push on the kids. Oh, don't worry, Jimmy. It's just the Healie Feelies. It's terrible.
Horrible.
Terrible word. And we should never use it ever again.
Yep.
So, kind of the current craze, it's not in, dusty, dingy crystal shops anymore. It's mostly online.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Etsy is a good place to find a lot of this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And a few magazines, so Allure, Nylon, and Vogue, have talked up the stuff. They've promoted $58 frequency-raising mists infused with moonstone, rose quartz, and amethyst, $44 tourmaline-charged hydrating creams, and emerald gemstone face oils just shy of $90. The latter are designed to stimulate the heart chakra while conveniently fighting acne.
Wow. The acne chakra?
Yeah, acne chakra.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the face chakra.
Yeah, I think it's in between the third eye chakra and the mouth chakra is the acne. It's like one of the minor chakras. But this kind of feels like cheating. It kind of feels like we're getting away from the ancient wisdom we rediscovered in the 80s. I think it's kind of being bastardized a little bit because you can't just infuse face creams and oils with crystal magic and expect it to work. You got to go direct. You've got to the crystal directly on your heart chakra or your third eye.
Yep.
It's commercialism, and commercialism ruins everything. I think we're getting away. Instead of selling $90 creams with crystals in them, we should go back to selling $80 crystals. It's just markup.
I have to wonder if there's any hardcore crystal addicts, like do you find them in an alley behind some gift shop in Sedona, Arizona, like shooting up pure crystal fragments directly into their arm veins? I mean, is it that?
The sad thing is there are, but it's a different kind of crystal.
Type of crystal. Okay.
I don't think quartz or tourmaline is really the issue there. I think it's something way more fun.
Right.
But that's for a different episode. We're not going to talk about that here. And today, we did some research. I found this interesting article in the Pacific Standard that talked about a lot of the recent kind of fascination with crystals and how it's kind of an issue about like spirituality kind of getting away, people who say I'm spiritual but not religious.
Yeah.
That kind of crowd, and how, people generally don't, like younger people don't belong to like one religion.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, I'm a Christian or I'm a Buddhist or I'm Muslim or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like picking and choosing, kind of like DIY religion, and how this has kind of come together with shopping, which is just great. So, here's a good quote from this article. Today, shopping has become its own spiritual practice, according to Matthew Hedstrom, an associate professor of religious studies at the University of Virginia. As younger generations increasingly identify with multiple faiths, religion becomes another one of those things you consume because you find it enjoyable or useful in some way, rather than feeling like religion is something you help make. Hedstrom says, in an organized religious community, everybody has to show up every week. So that's the height of our spirituality nowadays.
God.
We're turning religion into a mall. That's better. I thought the trend was, kind of religiosity dying down. No, it's religion returning to the mall. The next step is putting it in the temple. Let's just bring it back.
Full circle. Yeah.
That's where it was, and that's where it belongs, I think.
Yeah, speaking of circle, I think we've reached the inner circle of hell at this point. This is just...
Yeah.
I'm over it.
I think, the ninth level, you've got Judas and you've got Brutus. And you also have all of this. Yeah. Just this idea.
Just this whole thing.
I want this idea to go to hell. Can that happen? I don't know.
Are ideas conscious? I don't know.
Yes. I'm going to say yes, just so I can believe they go to hell. Like that's... I wish, people have goofy ideas, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want the ideas to directly... go away.
Yeah, be burned forever, basically. Yeah.
Like kind of these ideas, like there was a 2014 study that talked about some of these ideas, and they specifically mention a spiritual supermarket is there because malls are kind of old. People don't go to malls anymore.
Yeah.
And it's basically, we can pick and choose the bits of all the religions we like. We smush them together with the kinds of stuff we like to buy, and boom, you're spiritual. So a lot of this, craze, it's also tied to this, denigration of millennials, this individualism of Generation Me, which, I love being denigrated.
Yeah.
We're all just crass consumers. We have no moral backbone. We have no deep political principles. We probably, listen to rap, which is the great sin.
Yep.
we probably would have been people listening to jazz in the 20s, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
That's
true.
What does this individualism have to do with crystals? Well, the idea is like, we don't like hanging out with people, so we're not going to church to hang out with these other people. It's, I don't want to wake up at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
All right. I work hard. Let me sleep in.
Yeah.
But we're still spiritual, even though we don't want to go to church and hang out with other people, because more than 40% of millennials in the study, they, quote, feel a deep sense of wonder about the universe at least once a week. I want to know how they're quantifying this. Like, who is keeping track? Like, this is the most disturbing. This is like having a Fitbit for your spirituality. Yeah, I'd say once a week, because, but then I thought about it, I think I'm more a once a month.
Yeah.
Feeling a deep sense of wonder and awe at the universe. I don't know about you. I don't know where you fall in.
I mean, I just do it I just do it on my own. I mean, I take the tally on my own. Like every time I, feel a sense of wonder about the universe, I take it down on my notepad on my iPhone. So I think I have about 3. Yeah, I got about 3 at this point. In comparison, I do have about 476 old grocery lists on my notepad.
You gotta clean those out.
God, so many. I think I really do have about 500 grocery lists.
But see, that's convenient because your grocery list can include all your spiritual stuff that you gotta buy.
That's true. Yeah.
Your tourmaline face creams.
Right.
Your moonstone oils. Your, secular saint candles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all really, I think it all goes. You should just combine those lists.
Sure.
I mean, why not? They're not separate anymore.
Yep.
In the same Pacific Standard article, we've been talking about kind of more general kind of sociological, cultural issues, but there's also, she talks about a specific person is kind of how she begins this article. And also the writer, it's Madeline Thomas. I should give credit where credit's due. Mm-hmm. It's a really good article, Pacific Standard. I'm not familiar with the magazine, but I thought the article was really kind of fascinating.
Nice.
And she talks about Jesse Oatman. Jesse Oatman suffered heartbreak at 34. And it was healed by applying rose quartz to her heart chakra. Heart chakra's in your chest, obviously. But even though she has since remarried, the article goes on, the rose quartz is still her favorite. And this really made me, kind of irrationally angry on a lot of levels, which is just totally unfair. I'm going to say right off the bat, do what you got to do. To get over your heartbreak.
Yeah.
I'm just being a dick about this. All right. I just want to say that off the bat. I have no right. This is about me, because the first thing is that the heart, that thing in the middle of your chest that pumps your blood, has nothing to do with heartache. That's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. So why, if the crystals do the crystal thing, it shouldn't be the heart part. And so this really bothered me. It's like, you shouldn't treat metaphors, right. I guess is like, if you're going to do the goofy crystal energy stuff, it shouldn't target the metaphor. So that's the first thing. So for example, I was worried about kicking the bucket until I applied a piece of obsidian to my bucket chakra, and now I don't even remember where that bucket is. So if I said that, I would probably not be allowed in the McDonald's anymore. They would kick me out. They'd be really upset. And it seems just as reasonable as the heart affecting the heart chakra, I'd have to say.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
The other thing that I kind of thought about later after my, irrational anger died down, was if I was Jesse's husband, I would be a little why do you have to carry that rose quartz around? It was to deal with a broken heart. Do you not trust me? Are you going to dump me? Where's mine? I need my rose quartz. That's someone who is not comfortable in their relationship, but Jessie Oatman, she's not the only one getting in the mix. 20 and 30 somethings are going mad for the rocks. According to trend forecaster Lucy Green, brands are repackaging the cues of mysticism and gems, connecting them to well-being products for a hip millennial audience.
Oh.
Just saying trend forecaster, when I read that, I vomited in my mouth a little bit. It's one thing to want to try and start trends.
Right.
But to predict trends? That's your job? Oh, Lordy B.
I'm also sick of people that confuse the term trend and fashion. We all know that fashion is 30 years of trend. All fashion scientists know this.
Oh, see, I didn't...
It's 30 years of weather is 30 years, climate is 30 years of weather. And that's, it's the same. But also, so is fashion. It's 30 years of trend.
See, you're getting that environmental science degree to use in this podcast. I appreciate that.
It's applying to everything else. Yeah.
I like that. That's... You're teaching the people. You're the hero they don't deserve. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that right up front.
Thank you.
So the LA Times also got into the mix. There was a fun article on the LA Times about this. About Kylie Jenner actually is apparently into crystals. Nice. Kylie Jenner got 794,000 likes for a photo of a crystal larger than her feet. And this was the LA Times article's like measurement convention. I don't know if the post said, "Hey, look, it's bigger than my feet." I think the LA Times
so what with that measurement
author just threw that in there. I like this measurement convention. Yeah. It's big, but is it Kylie Jenner's feet big? That's what I want.
Did I ever tell you about the time me and my girlfriend sat across from Kylie and Kendall Jenner on our flight? It was like a Southwest flight, I think.
No. See, I already don't believe you. They're not flying Southwest.
I'm telling you. Ask her. Ask my girlfriend. It says, they were like there, and there was both of them, and like I don't know if like they were being punished to not be in first class, but they were not like very famous yet. So
that's a good punishment. I'm gonna, once we're rich and famous from this podcast, and I have like 20,000 children, that's how I'm gonna punish them. I'm gonna punish them. Yeah,
that's the first time I do if we can make a lot of money is just start breeding like crazy. Yeah. I really just want to have like 30 kids.
Because once you're rich,
just be an asshole.
You are. I think you're morally obligated to breed at that point because you're
a lot of children.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you give them all your money.
Yep.
That's I think really healthy for society. Keep wealth inside the same family for centuries.
Yes. Hoard it. Hoard your wealth.
And so the psychic services industry has grown to be a $2 billion business in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to focus on big pharma. Like that's the real problem. Because alternative medicine providers never make money.
No, never do.
This is fake news, clearly.
Yep.
And one place, the House of Intuition, a metaphysical shop in LA that opened in 2010, has doubled its revenue every year since 2010. And I think this article was from 2016. So
that's crazy.
That's an investment opportunity.
Wow.
I want to open a metaphysical shop, but only sell like books by philosophers, like David Lewis. Just have it stocked in there and just really confuse people. No, this is the metaphysics shop.
Yeah.
Side note: there's actually the bookstore in Portland. What is it called? Powell's.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Powell's has a metaphysics section that has metaphysics in it. It's kind of amazing.
That's kind of cool.
You never see it.
You never see because it's usually like New Age stuff.
Yeah,
mostly.
Exactly. That's the one thing I always liked about Barnes & Noble is that they didn't use the metaphysics term. Right. They used New Age.
It's a New Age. I agree.
So what is next?
I think, we're talking about the crystals, how they actually work.
Yeah, you've got some, you're bringing your environmental science degree to bear on this topic. We're going to learn a lot.
All right.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
What do you have? So we've been talking about, history, about kind of the new stuff, but how do they work? Give us the lowdown.
Yeah. So let's take a step back, from all the healing powers and stuff. But we actually haven't even gotten there yet. So let's, we're going to talk about that more, I think. But let's talk about what a crystal actually is. So anyway, the science.
Yeah, you and your snobbish science,
What a snob.
I'm trying to clear all this quartz, and you're just trying to bring some science.
This is the point where Rick Santorum turns off the podcast. He's like, I refuse to have any part of this. What a snob.
Well, I hope he waited for my rebuttal to you, so he's like, at least one of them isn't a snob. Right. One of them is really just following his gut. On the crystal question.
So anyway, I dusted off one of my old Geology 101 textbooks. And I was actually pretty depressed because do you keep all your textbooks? Because I apparently got rid of a lot of mine. I was like, what did I do that?
Oh, no.
You have all yours?
No.
Oh, well, you purged them.
Yeah. I purged virtually all of my books before I
rented a lot
came to Detroit, just because I have a lot of ebooks.
Right.
Of course, I've been, I'm a degenerate, so I've slowly accrued more books that I'm going to have to get rid of at some point.
Yeah.
But so no textbooks.
No textbooks. Yeah, same. I was looking for my mineralogy textbook, but I don't know where that is. And I also let people borrow them, and I'm horrible about remembering that. I'm like, so nice. Like, here you go, and then forget. Now they have them forever. It's like, great. So if you're listening...
Haven't you learned from the zeitgeist of our times to not be nice?
Right. Damn it. Yeah.
You're going to get tricked.
Someday.
All these other people,
yep.
You don't know how to make a deal.
So the textbook is Essential Geology 3rd edition by Stephen Marshak, blah, blah. And anyway, and I found...
Blah, blah, scientist. God.
Yeah. So I found this definition for what a crystal is. It's a single continuous piece of mineral bonded by flat surfaces that form naturally as the mineral grew.
Okay, so I'm a little confused right off the bat. I have to admit. So I'm a layman. You clearly are the expert on this. But I don't see anything here about transmitting energy or thought forms. Is that covered in Geology 102?
Is
that the next step?
That's 102. Okay. Yeah, it's like the second chapter.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I don't have
I'm
that
sorry
anymore,
to interrupt.
Yeah. So crystals are highly ordered microscopic structures which consist of lattice structures that extend in multiple directions. Crystals have internal patterns of atoms. They lock in new atoms in repeating patterns to create various shapes. So the internal arrangement of the atoms determines the physical and chemical properties of that mineral. This includes also the color. So crystallography is the scientific study of crystals and crystal formations, and trust me, it's really fucking complicated, and I don't remember much of it. Yeah.
So it's basically bits of stuff and a certain structure.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the dumb Dylan version.
That's exactly what it is.
It's all about the structure.
Right.
And they can grow, they can like bring other bits of stuff into the structure and grow and continue the structure.
Right. And it all has to do with charge of atoms and how they, repel and whatever. I'm not going to go into anymore because that's all I want to say about that.
Crystals are actually a common example in when people try to do the fruitless task of defining what life is.
Yeah.
Crystals are a common example. Basically, your definition of life has failed if crystals turn out to be alive. Because they grow and stuff like that, and they kind of incorporate stuff outside of them, but they're not alive, I don't think.
Yep. No. They do have sex, though. Just kidding.
Ooh.
Oh, crystal sex.
Gotta get the root chakra involved.
So the growth of crystals is called crystallization or solidification. The growth of crystals is caused by various factors such as chemical compositions, pressure, and temperature. Crystals are most commonly identified by their shape. Euhedral crystals are those with well-formed, obvious flat faces. You can notice them. Anhedral crystals have no well-formed crystal faces or cross-section shape in thin section. So thin section just means very thin slices of minerals of rock that geologists study under microscopes to look for various properties. And thin section is also the portion of me that wouldn't be concerned about my waistline. Hey!
It's funny that you kind of mentioned that because my first thought was kind of like crystal body shaming. Like, you've got the nice flat surfaces. I don't have any shape.
So how do crystals form? There are several different ways crystals form. So metamorphic and magmatic processes create large masses of crystal and rock. So igneous rocks are formed from molten magma. As it solidifies, crystals grow, and the degree to which these crystals grow varies according to the properties I named earlier. So granite, for example, cools very slowly under massive amounts of pressure, which causes it to completely crystallize over long periods of time. And most of my hard surfaces in this house I'm in is granite. There's some useless information for the listeners, but I just want them to get a feel for where I live.
Yeah,
the address is. Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, let's calm down about the address.
I'm going to dox myself.
Well, then again, no one's emailing us except for scam artists, so I mean, they probably you wouldn't hear a beep. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I've hung up several shelves in my apartment, and based on the difficulty of doing so, I'd say my walls are made of steel. I think it takes a long time to bore a hole in one of those things. It's terrible. Terrible.
Yep. That's the worst. I hate hanging shelves. And ours, we have, everything we have. Every counter, every bathtub, well, not bathtub, but like the shower. It's all just it's kind of cool.
Do you live in a cave?
I do. Actually, we actually don't live in a house. It's a cave. And
that's good.
I got this set up on a stalactite right here. It's hanging from the microphone.
Very. That's very millennial.
Yeah.
We love hanging stuff off of other stuff. That's really how you get the crystal healing going. You got to build your house out of crystal.
That's a good point. Yeah. Just live in a crystal.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Crystal bodysuit.
Mm-hmm. Too much energy, though.
Oh, you might be right. You get too aligned.
Yeah.
You don't want that either.
Migraines, I think.
Moderation, even in crystal healing.
True. So the magma that escapes and cools quickly forms more glassy matter, such as obsidian. There's actually a place, it's in Delta, Utah. It's called Obsidian Mountain. I was looking, me and my girlfriend went to The lava tubes, and it's like this area where it's really cool. It's like all these lava tubes you can go in, and it was really annoying because there's like 8 million children. I was just like, I give up. I just left. Like we were there for a little bit. Like, dude, there's children all over these lava tubes. Like I went out of here.
It's just the spectacle and just grandeur of nature. But there's
They're
kids.
like yelling
Fuck it.
and jumping.
I'm going.
Ugh, yeah.
What is a lava tube?
It's like what was, like what would have been like, it's like solid lava or, solid magma that's like, but it's like there's hollow areas where lava once flew, whatever. What should I say?
Flowed freely?
Flowed freely. Thank you. Yes.
Perfect.
So like the magma was like inside flowing through these like tubes, and it leaves all these like places. And some of the big is, for obviously children to run around through. But anyway, the Obsidian Mountain, it's actually an entire mountain, and it's like this shiny black, like the whole mountain is all. Because it's like the opposite. We went to this place, me and my girlfriend and her dad, like we went to this place in Utah. It's called Glitter Mountain. I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures. It's actually like a whole. I haven't. It's really cool. I have them on Instagram. It's like a pretty much a huge mountain. Years ago we went, but it's like a huge mountain made of selenite rock. So it's very, very clear rock. And the whole mountain's like glittery and kind of see-through. It's really cool.
That is cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one day. There's actually, in my crystal research, I found there's this German town. Let me try. I believe it's a Nordlingen. Nice, I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it. But it's all encrusted in diamonds.
Damn.
All the houses, all the roads, diamond.
That's awesome.
Apparently there was, I think, like an asteroid nearby. I don't remember the details, but basically just they have a ridiculous diamond source right nearby, and so it's just like it's just like bricks.
That's really cool.
Like basically, there's have diamonds everywhere, just so it's kind of amazing.
Giant. Wow. Yeah,
people are also growing diamonds in labs. Have you been following this?
No, I heard about that. Yeah, I was going to say too. Wasn't there like a planet that was like they think maybe all like mostly diamond or something?
I think you're right. I think so.
Anyway, but that's cool though.
Yeah, they're lab grown diamonds, so we can avoid the blood diamonds and all that kind of stuff.
That. Good stuff.
And use it for, there's all sorts of, I never knew this, there's all sorts of interesting like medical and scientific uses for diamonds. Especially if we can like lab produce them and make them fairly cheap. Mm-hmm. So like crystal, like diamond scalpels for surgeons. Yeah. Ooh, I love the cool stuff.
And fancy. Only for like, the rich, like the Kardashian.
Yeah, the Kardashian doctor.
This is a very Kardashian heavy podcast. Well,
Yeah, I like we're bringing in the pop culture. We're relevant.
Yeah.
We're on brand.
We are. Yep. So some rocks start as limestone and sandstone or shale, and under vast amounts of pressure and heat, have had their internal original structures erased and recrystallized to form metamorphic rocks such as mica schists, quartzites, and marbles. So
it's kind of like a caterpillar, where basically like when it, gets into its cocoon, it kind of like liquefies and then reforms into the butterfly.
It reforms. That is so cool. Yeah.
It's also like making chocolate.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Where if you fuck it up, you gotta like melt the whole thing down again.
Yeah. Yep.
I've done that many times.
Sounds good. Other crystals have formed out of the precipitation from fluids, most commonly water, to form druses or quartz veins. I've noticed actually a lot of quartz veins at the rocky beaches in Southern California. And I've also noticed lots of small town snobby assholes too. So,
man. Yeah, they look down on us. Las Vegas is basically just a colony of Southern California.
Yeah.
It's like Southern California, like white trash. Yeah. Is kind of like that to me is the Las Vegas kind of aesthetic. Is lots of guys with monster hats and monster shirts, and they're driving a moped because they got a DUI. That's I could see why they look down on us. You don't deserve that,
right?
But we were in stereotypes surround us all.
Yeah, we were in me and my whole family and my girlfriend years ago were in Laguna Beach, and we were walking down the street and the shop area. And they were these kids eating pizza, just making fun. It's where you from? Go back home, boy. And I was just what? It's are we in Arkansas in the middle of nowhere? Oh no, this is. It's that's still a small town. Laguna Beach is I guess a hick. It's just beach hicks. So. Oh God, I don't want to piss off her.
I've been to Laguna Beach a few times.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
The beach part is nice. but I guess the people are schmucks. I don't remember. I was a small kid.
Yeah.
I just remember I shit my pants on Laguna Beach. That's my Laguna Beach.
In the
memory.
water, or was that more just?
No, I wasn't
around?
in the water.
No.
Just on the beach. Just
just shit your pants.
we were walking down the beach, and I kind of was like, oh no, I need to go to the bathroom.
Worst.
And I was like, we are miles away from our house. We were just walking down the beach, and I valiantly tried.
Yeah.
I think I was in middle school, so
Yeah.
I was.
Yep, happens. Yep, I got stories. We all got these stories. Junior high.
I'm trying to be open about it,
Yeah.
so there shouldn't be a stigma.
That's right.
Sometimes you got to shit your pants.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the way it does. Yeah.
It doesn't speak ill of your character
Right.
or your virtue. It just speaks ill of your pants.
So, okay.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Nope,
We're getting a breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news.
Kim Kardashian is now vice president. What?
This is news from my fiance.
Oh.
From Pie Side Pizza, a local pizza chain, and it's a joke. So may I tell the joke?
Yes.
From the Pie Side Pizza. This is breaking news. Why are salmon hipsters?
Huh. Something about upstream. No, I don't know what.
Because they go against the mainstream.
I
You're
got
right.
it! Yes! So some evaporites, such as gypsum and halite, have been deposited from an aqueous solution due to arid climates. So like out here.
Aqueous.
Aqueous.
Is that related to the age of Aquarius?
Oh.
Is it the age of
Very.
Aqueous? Is that,
Yep.
seeing connections.
Yeah, I like it. So in geology, in my geology 101 class, this is before we learned about the healing crystals. So just take that, take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah. We have to go the conventional route
Right.
first
Yeah,
before we can
yeah.
truly appreciate
Yep.
the ancient wisdom.
Exactly. So in my mineralogy class, for example, we would do lab tests where we would sit down with the mineral or rock in front of us. This is like the midterm. We'd have a few minutes to look and examine the mineral of the rock and apply all the knowledge we've learned throughout the semester to try and identify it. So there were like nails for scratching to place it on the Mohs hardness scale. We had like hand lenses to examine the crystal faces, see if they're, euhedral, whatever. You'd examine the color, which is actually kind of deceptive sometimes, grain size, foliation, texture, blah, blah. So that's just what we did.
That sounds stressful. But, what you're saying is, though, if you ever ended up in Shawshank Prison, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right.
You'd be out of there in less than a year.
Yeah, just give me a, what was it? Fuzzy britches. That's what he said. That's what the warden says. What's her name? I'm blanking on her name.
Raquel Welch, I believe.
Yeah, gorgeous woman. But yeah, she was
the last one.
Oh, fuzzy britches. So it's like, what
is it fuzzy or fussy?
I don't know. I thought he was like, what do you have to say
fuzzy
there,
makes
fuzzy
sense.
britches? Yeah,
because she had
actual fuzzy britches on
pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That makes more sense. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's one of my favorite. That's one of the. I don't know if it's one of my favorite movies, but it's the movie I watch the most.
Yeah, it's always on television too. Yeah,
it's always on television. I like a good movie where like there's a really good ending.
Yeah,
but it's actually like satisfying. You feel like the movie earned it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So when we worked in the field, we would take hand lens and we would take it with us and we'd examine some rocks and we would. So in my igneous and metamorphic petrology class, we would examine like volcanic rocks, looking at the crystal faces under hand lens and under the microscope and stuff. But I always.
So what is petrology?
Petrology is just a study of rock, basically. It's a fancy.
Oh, just rocks.
Yeah, it's just rocks. Gotta sound fancy.
So mineralogy is minerals.
Right. It's a study of like specifically minerals.
So what
geology
is the difference between a mineral and a rock?
Oh, why do you have to do this to me?
Seat.
Well, minerals are rocks are made of minerals. So rocks are basically composed of minerals for the most part. Not all rocks, but mostly. Some rocks don't have visible minerals at all, hardly, and then a lot of rocks have all kinds of minerals. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because there's so many geology people listening.
Grilling you.
Yeah,
I'm going to grill
we get
you
to the philosophy stuff.
Hide my ignorance, because I know nothing, you know a ton. And I'm just going to grill
me to the end. Wait till we get to the healing stuff. Then I'll really... Because I had 102, so that's when I'll kick in.
Yeah, you're going to school me. I know a little bit more, though, about the 102. I skipped ahead. I wanted to run before I could walk.
You can't skip ahead. But, honestly, I always, I remember I was joking with my girlfriend about this. Like, I want to do like sort of like a sketch comedy skit of like a crystal healing guru who is like also a geology student. So when she went into the mineralogy labs to take her midterms and all the crystals are all laid out there, she'd have to identify. She would be utterly overwhelmed by like all the mystical powers and just fall over with the overload of chakras. And I mean, the professor would probably be like, okay, like, I've graded your lab report. Listen, I realize you want to express just how much this crystal has healed your sex life, but you just please identify the birefringence and pleochroism. Like, you just left those blank. This is just like out in the field, she's out in the field, like she just can't even. It's like, why is that woman glowing over there? She's reached nirvana, basically. Perfect existence as a geology student.
That is like the perfect analog to like the engineering student in the philosophy class. I feel like just like obviously truth is relative, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, no, it's not obvious, bro.
Oh god.
But yeah, we need a Patreon for that. We need to get that funded.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Yep. Exactly.
Go fund me. Let's get it going.
Yep.
Okay.
I think there's still, so I was going to say one more thing. If these crystals, they all have different powers and you wouldn't be able to you couldn't go into a crystal shop. That's why I've always never understood about crystal shops, because it would be a lot of, all these conflicting mixed up energies. I don't know.
Well, I think you got to bring in the intention,
right?
Is what we're going to learn.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's keep going.
You're getting to 102.
All right.
Let's
get to the real stuff.
We've been doing a lot of boring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about history. We've been talking about what the scientist class wants you to believe.
Yep.
Let's move to 102. Let's get to crystal healing.
Yes.
Let's get to the real stuff. So the basic way crystals work is you've got chakras.
Right.
Which chakra theory is phrenology for the body. So you've got energies, right?
Yep.
Which we all clearly understand. You've got these energies, and you've got different energies controlling all your stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Whether you hate your boss.
Right.
Whether you like going to baseball games. Mm-hmm. Whether you are having a headache because your cat won't stop crying while you're trying to record a podcast. So you've got all these energies controlling all your stuff. And you've got these chakras, which are like portals for this energy.
Right.
And you get sick or you get sad because your energies are out of whack.
Yep.
And crystals de-wackify your energies.
Nice.
And get them going again.
Good.
That's the basic story about crystals.
Good. De-wackification.
De-wackification, yeah. So let's get a little more in depth here. De-wackification, by the way, technical term.
Yeah.
So we don't want to forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Each of your chakra, you got 7. Well, the one interesting thing I learned about this, so like in the general New Age idea is you've got 7 chakras.
Yeah.
But actually, like if you read the texts that these people are stealing from,
right.
It turns out that there's like a bunch of chakras.
Huh.
And there's like kind of major chakras versus like minor chakras. So that's kind of cool. But the base, you got 7 chakras, and each chakra is associated with a color.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Yeah, and these infinity stones must be assembled into a gauntlet, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the chakra gauntlet, I think is how it works.
Yeah,
you get the crystals for each...
And half the people die.
And so if you have a problem with a specific part of your body, you just got to get a crystal of the appropriate color on that part. So that's a piece of cake.
Okay, easy.
Just color matching.
Yeah.
If you're colorblind, get it
You're
first.
screwed.
So let's say you have a headache, which I often do.
Right.
You got your head chakra.
Mm-hmm.
That's purple. So you just got to get a purple crystal, put it on your head. Boom. Problem solved. Let's say you got problems in the bedroom. Your root chakra, which is your groin chakra, that's red. So you just got to put a ruby down your pants.
I don't even wait, and when they're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the ruby. Just do
Grab them by the ruby in their navel? No, in their pants.
Oh.
See, that's the mistake they made. The ruby shouldn't have gone in the navel.
Right.
Should have gone a little lower.
Yep.
So, according to Time magazine, which did, another article, there was like just a blitz of articles I found between like 2016 and 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Like every newspaper and magazine was like, we need to have our crystal article. And so Time kind of talked about this a little bit, and they said, holding crystals or placing them on your body is thought to promote physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Crystals supposedly supposedly do this by positively interacting with your body's energy field or chakra. While some crystals are said to alleviate stress, others purportedly improve concentration or creativity. That's kind of a good summary of, what we've been talking about so far.
Yeah, but never concentration and creativity. It's either one or the other, right?
No, you can't have both.
Okay.
I mean, you just would explode. According to Colleen Morgan of healingcrystals.net, crystals not only helped heal her mind, body, and spirit, but also manage their autoimmune disease.
Wouldn't that be covered under the term body, though? Or no?
No.
No. Go.
That's separate. I don't have an explanation. I tried. I'm sorry, Colleen. That's what she said. I ain't got nothing. You're right. You're just totally right.
Yeah.
There's just irrefutable. Let's move on. I did say autoimmune diseases.
Oh,
I want to clarify, plural.
Okay.
She's got a lot of them.
Yeah.
She had RSD, rheumatoid arthritis, degenerative disc disease, fibromyalgia, and a brain injury from getting hit by a car.
Jeez, that's one dirty car.
That is a dirty car. And it's funny because this article that Colleen Morgan wrote, there's a couple pictures on there kind of showing her now that she's been healed by the power of crystals. One of them is her riding a horse, but she's wearing a bike helmet.
Wow.
Which I've never seen.
No.
So maybe the crystals are more helpful in the body and spirit front and less on the mind front. Don't think you need a bike helmet on a horse. Listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never ridden a horse.
No.
What do I know?
You only wear a cowboy hat.
No. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
I wear a cowboy hat when I'm on my bike.
Right. That's confusing, but that is, I like that. Yeah.
But it's also correct.
Yeah, I agree.
There's also a picture of her hugging a 250-year-old tree. So crystals, they help you hug.
Ah. Yeah, but do they
If your hugging game needs help, they can help you with that.
My hugging game needs serious work, man. Yeah, but do they help you grow back arms so you can actually hug not just an old tree, but your loved ones? Ask the curious, crystal curious amputee,
They might. I don't know.
Maybe they do.
You could make prosthetic arms out of crystal.
Yeah.
And then you can hug a lot of people.
Yeah.
And scare children and dogs.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I like that idea. Maybe if Oscar Pistorius had prosthetic legs made out of crystal, he wouldn't have killed his fiancée. That's speculation on my part. I don't know. Or his wife. Right. I don't know if they were married. He killed somebody.
Yeah.
That I know. But, the one thing I like about this article is that, it's not, because it's a crystal selling website, which is, I want to say up front, this is why I feel it's totally fine to make fun of this person.
Yeah.
They're selling crystals, and, it's not, I think Brent and I have been talking about this. It's not as bad, I think, as the cancer quackery stuff, clearly, because, the crystals, they're not that expensive. But at the same time, she's talking a lot of smack about traditional medicine, medicine. She's talking smack about medicine.
Yeah.
And advocating crystals. So I feel, fair game.
Yeah.
She's fair game. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But I also like, she sells the crystals, so she clearly has a financial interest in promoting them, but she admits that it's not all crystals. Oh. She's been getting help from other dimensions.
Okay.
Specifically a paleo diet, without the red meat and without the, quote, nightshade vegetables. But at first I was confused, but I guess, we've already talked about the all meat vegetarian diet.
Right.
So you can also have the no steak or tomatoes paleo diet.
Yeah.
It's really not that much of a stretch, I think.
Let's get real here though. Let's just go on an all crystal diet. Eat the fucking crystals. Let's just go straight in. Yeah.
They'll I imagine the chakras aren't on your skin.
Yeah.
They're inside you.
Yep.
So that's the best way to get the crystals.
Yeah.
To interact with them.
Live in a crystal, eat crystals, inject crystals. You're just doing it wrong.
Inject crystal. Oh!
We don't promote that.
So like I said, she kind of talks about, traditional doctors and all this kind of stuff. Ugh. And what really annoys me about this, poorly written sales pitch, and it is poorly written. There's something an old professor of mine said where he said sometimes when he read student essays, it was like they wrote it without punctuation. And then just had a salt shaker of commas and semicolons and just sprinkled it on. That's what it seemed like sometimes would be used. And that's what it felt like reading this.
Oh, that's good.
But what's annoying is that she does have a point because she talks about doctors getting, essentially kickbacks for prescribing Oxycontin and things like that. Yeah. And it annoys me because she's right about that. And that kind of thing
Yeah.
Like, we talk about like, oh, we need to improve like critical thinking and like we need to teach people to better, handle evidence about medicine, but we also need to deal with this.
Yeah,
like, I think
agree.
like that is a bigger driver of alternative medicine.
Yep.
Are these shady practices.
Right. Totally.
And it bugs the fuck out of me.
Yep. I agree.
But so we don't just hear from Colleen Morgan, we also hear from the Morgan family. And they offer, they talk about their business. And interestingly enough, their pitch is much better written. So I think maybe, they could have shared the editor, I think. Also, I'm going to admit to some dumbness here. So I started reading, like, the beginning, and then I scrolled to the bottom to see who wrote it, and it just said the Morgan family, because I didn't realize it was actually 2 articles, like, back-to-back on the website. And so when they were talking about their autoimmune diseases, I thought, like, all of the Morgan family had the autoimmune diseases. I was like, oh, man, everybody. Then I'm like, oh, it's just one of the Morgans has them. So I want to be upfront about my own stupidity. I think it's important.
Yeah, I mean, being even dumber, I thought we were actually talking about Morgan Freeman's entire family. So,
wow, that's
I was
a big
way
mistake.
Off. I just saw you're dumber and went, raised you.
Ooh,
so, yeah.
Man, you raised my stupidity. I like that. I'm gonna fold. I think in the poker game of being an idiot, I fold. I'm going to admit it. Okay. So the Morgan family, their claim to fame is a trademarked crystal called azeztolite, a crystal with high vibrational energy, useful for healing, meditation, relaxation, and de-stressing.
Oh.
So what is it? What is this fabulous thing? Well, all I could find is that it's certainly not just quartz. I want to get that right off the bat.
Right.
Brent is truly the expert here. I'm under his crystal tutelage, but I know this isn't quartz. All right. But it is quartz, not just quartz.
Right.
But it is quartz.
Right. Following you.
And it has all the same physical properties as quartz.
Right.
All right, you follow me? So it is quartz, all the same physical properties as quartz, but it's not
quartz.
Just quartz. Okay,
Got
we're
it.
all clear.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page. So what makes it special? What makes it special is that it originated with, quote, star people called the Azez. Okay, that's
quote, star people. Yeah.
Quotes, hand to God.
Yep.
Quote star people.
Yeah.
People. I want the listeners
is that
to
people
know.
that live in stars?
I don't paraphrasing.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Also, it comes from a faraway mineral mine.
Ooh. Like what different galaxy or something, right?
North Carolina is the faraway mineral mine.
Okay.
What I liked about this is now I can say I was born in the faraway state of North Carolina.
Please tell us about it. Yeah.
True Dylan fact. Born in Fort Bragg. Well, so I like to say because I was born in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
You brag about it.
But I like to say I do brag about it.
Right, obviously.
But I like to say that I actually wasn't born in North Carolina because I was born on an army base. So I was born directly into America. So that's why I'm not a Southerner.
Right.
Born directly into America.
Immediately into the military, too, probably, right? Right out of the womb.
I was drafted.
Yep.
Paratrooper.
Yeah.
Just dropped me out of planes. More of a scare tactic.
Is that a baby coming down?
Can you imagine? Because it was a few years after the Gulf War started. Yeah. So I would be terrified.
Well,
what do we not know about those babies?
Right. I mean, I like the extra layer of con artistry here. It's not enough to make up shit about, offering zero evidence about quartz magical healing powers, but also to make up a fake crystal when it's really just quartz. That is innovative. I like that. It's like
making up the fake disease.
Yeah.
Like with the cancer quacks.
A fake cure for a fake disease. I like it.
I don't want to commit slander.
Right.
Aztolite may very well actually be different from quartz. This was the arguments I was reading for it.
You're just reading it. Yeah.
This is what I was told by the internet. I was trying. I was like, what is this stuff? I just wanted to know. I just assumed it was.
It's not just quartz.
I knew
Let's
there was.
Leave it there.
I knew there was BS around it, but I didn't think it was this BS. And so if the people selling it to me are saying this, I'm going to leave it at that. Our main source for the crystal healing, which was I was really impressed, with the source, not with the writing of the source,
Right.
but with the amount of information available. And this all comes from IndianReikiMasters.com.
Nice.
On this website, they have a book. They call it a book. It's, it's a series of 7 web pages, whatever. You can call that a book. That's fine with me. I think the first sentence really captures like the depth of knowledge you're going to acquire. And that's this. Crystals are a tool for natural healing, which can be health practitioners to accelerate their own methods. And the TLDR here is your body is energy, disease is energy out of whack, crystals de-wackify your energy, simple as that.
Thank you. Like, who needs med school now? Sober.
Yeah,
Yep.
We just need Geology 102. That's really all the med school we need. So kind of more specifically, again, a quote, the body is a series of synchronous, oscillating, solid and liquid crystal systems.
Wow. Ouch.
So this is really doubling down. Like, I imagine the philosopher trying to make a definition of life that doesn't include crystals. And they're like, no, crystals are alive because we are crystals. Like, oh man, that's one way to double down. I mean, you can do that. That's allowed. And, this makes a lot of sense, though, actually. Kind of, I was thinking back to our Revelations episode where we discovered that God is made of rocks.
Right.
And we're made in God's image, so clearly we're also made of rocks.
Yes. That makes perfect sense.
I made fun of that part.
Yeah.
But I was the fool. So we're learning a lot in the crystal episode. Let's see here. Unfortunately, right now, we don't really have, and I'm going to call IRM, I'm going to name the author of the IndianReikiMasters.com book. So IRM admits that we don't have the quantitative proof. We don't have definitive proof of the healing power of crystals. Why don't we? We can imagine all sorts of reasons. Because there could never be any evidence. Because they don't. That's one explanation. But IRM offers a different explanation, namely that the equipment needed to measure the subtle life force energies were often not available, usually because they did not exist. Now, when I originally read this, there's a certain ambiguity here where I was like, I think I totally agree. Those subtle life, you're not going to be able to detect them because they don't exist. But I'm going to be charitable, and I think the equipment doesn't exist. Right. Basically, think of the equipment we have that is really good at detecting stuff. We got the Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
We have those dark energy sensors that can, if you if they're they're in the middle of the earth, and if you 1 second out of every 100 years you can detect a thing.
Yeah.
That's all bullshit. It's all useless. Never going to detect the subtle life energies. We need the real stuff. We're just not there yet. So we don't have, the clear-cut scientific proof, but all is not lost.
Right.
Because if the energy could not be measured, the effect it had on the human body could be.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, this inductive means of study became our laboratory.
Get out the Bunsen burners.
Oh, well,
let's do it. Put it inside.
Not exactly yet. But we're close. Unconventional devices such as dowsing rods were used to measure the expansion or contraction of the body's energy field.
Sure.
An acupuncture meridian measurement device was used to measure the conductivity of the meridian points on the body. Energy changes were recorded through the process of high-energy physics photography, sometimes called Kirlian photography. Even blood platelet changes were photographed under a microscope after a crystal healing. But what I want to know is, where are the numbers? There's no numbers here, so I don't believe any of it. I want a formula.
Just another big numbers guy, aren't you?
Yeah, big numbers.
Come on. I, for one, I won't be subject to the tyranny of numbers.
I am a shill for big number. I am a shill for big statistical significance.
I am a shill for saying the word tyranny on everything. So
big tyranny.
I attach it to tyranny goes
but
with everything. But
it's tyranny because it's the word, really. So it's tyranny in quotes.
Exactly.
Tyranny. Okay. What we have here is we have clinical trials and experimental verification, which satisfy, I wonder who they satisfy. They satisfy those working in the field of crystal healing. That's good at least. It's satisfying somebody.
That's good.
Not the crystallographers that you were talking about, but it satisfies them. And that's a good start.
Yeah.
So we're going to get back to the experimental methods later on, but let's start with the actual healing. Let's get into the goods. So what you got to do first when you've got crystals is you have to clear them. That's the first step.
Right.
You can't just get a crystal.
Like in Scientology.
Just like Scientology.
Yeah. First, you need to get rid of the crystal of engrams.
Exactly.
Your crystal engrams.
It's a little known fact about the nukes that were blown by Xenu bodies is like, you get the plutonium also got the engrams.
Oh.
So you got to clear everything. Got to clear the minerals, clear the crystals. All right. So clearing is changing negative emotions to positive emotions.
Wait, so crystals have emotions. Well, we know they have a soul, right? They have a soul. They are conscious. They're conscious.
Well, I mean, they already had engrams.
Right.
So they definitely, and we're all panpsychists. Yep. So clearly they're conscious.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
All
right, so they got these emotions, which we've already determined. So anyone with a bad vibe who holds a crystal will impart these bad vibes onto the crystal itself.
Sure.
And you can't heal yourself with a crystal full of bad vibes. Of course not.
There's always that one bad vibe too you just cannot clear off. Don't you hate that shit? It's just like there's one lingering bad vibe.
We're gonna work on how to deal with that because sometimes sometimes you can't do it.
Yeah.
So what you got to do though is you got crystals. You want to make sure they're good vibe crystals, not bad vibe crystals.
That's a good point.
Actually work. So what you do is you hold the crystal in your hand and you recite the light invocation 3 times.
Right. Not 2.
So everybody, 3.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one thing we have to do is after I'm finished with a bottle of pesticide is you have to triple rinse it. Because once you triple rinse it, you're actually just allowed to recycle it. So you triple rinse it.
But what do you recite when you do that? Do you recite, obviously,
So I actually also use the light invocation for that.
Good. Makes sense.
And that gets rid of all the pesticide so all the bees don't die.
And in case there's crystals nearby, they're cleared automatically, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
All the crystal tips of my blower.
Fancy outfit.
So it'll work. Oh, the best. I went to Nordlingen and got a diamond encrusted bug blower. Pretty cool. It's also, I don't know if I shared it on the Instagram page, but my blower it looks like Bernie Sanders.
It does.
It does. So here's a true story. So because there's that like blue logo that Bernie Sanders had where it's just the messy like semicircle of hair and the glasses.
Right.
And so on the blower, it's just that, but with the ear protection and the dust mask. I'm like, that's Bernie Sanders. Clearly. I posted that on Reddit and within 5 seconds, someone responded, actually, it looks like somebody with a real job. Like burn, wicked burn.
Like BERN, obviously. Burn.
Yeah. Feel the burn.
Well, I have stickers that say, I think we got them, me and my girlfriend went to the rally when he came to Vegas, and they are Birdie Sanders. Because remember, the bird landed on him.
I do remember that.
It's like a dove of peace landed right on his shoulder. Like, okay, that's a bit on the nose.
I remember my fiance donated, and they were like, "If you donate, you get a Bernie Sanders thing," and she never got it.
What? Oh, dude, I'll just send you we have so many stickers here. It's probably 1,000 stickers of Bernie Sanders.
I want all those retro stickers.
Yes, put them all in my car. Get my car destroyed.
Bernie couldn't give us the stickers because he's a socialist. He's a tyrant.
True, tyrant.
All right, got sidetracked. Light invocation. Get your crystals ready. Here it goes. I invoke the light of God within. I am a clear and perfect channel. Light is my guide.
That's 1.
That's it.
2 more times.
Well, just rewind it and you can do it because I don't have any crystals, so there's no point in me doing it right now. But so you can rewind and play it 3 times. You're good to go.
Yeah, we should make an app that just has that, and then people can clear their crystals or not.
And we could do exorcism. So we have the exorcism app and the crystal app. That's our thing. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so light invocation. You've cleared your crystal.
Good.
But you're a skeptical chap.
Yep.
How on earth can you prove that reciting this sentence actually worked? You want hard evidence, right?
I guess.
Well, the IRM has you covered. So this is what you're going to do. So you want to get a friend to recite the invocation while holding a crystal.
Okay.
Before and after your friend says the light invocation, you're going to record his or her energy levels with a dowsing rod.
Okay.
You with me? Confused?
Yeah.
Don't worry. The book actually has a research methods section at the end to help you with all this. That's how you know it's science. It's got the research methods there to help you.
I enjoy the use of the fake scientific instruments to detect things that aren't real.
I think you're being real. That snobbish college education is really coming through with your fake. Oh, it's fake. Just because it's a twig. A twig can't measure energy levels. Get over yourself.
We used a lot of dowsing rods in 102. We went around, holding them up to rock faces and stuff. Actually, we did use this thing called a jake, and it's a stick.
A jake?
It's called a jake stick, and it looks like, it's like a stick that just has black stripes on it to measure out like meters, and you just go, and that's how you basically are measuring an outcrop. You're walking across to know, this is 10 meters of limestone or whatever,
So it's a rule.
It's called a jake, but it's, we should have used dowsing rods because I think it would have been much more effective.
Yeah, you can just measure the crystal based on the energy level.
Right.
You wouldn't even,
we weren't getting any.
Why is it called a jake stick?
I don't know. And I don't know that answer. I think
no, wait, I do know. It was named after Emmanuel Jake. He invented the meter.
Ah.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it?
No.
Okay.
That was a lie.
Jake's staff. Jake's staff. I don't know how it got its name. It's a pole. It's just a pole. Come on.
It's just a pole.
It's just a pole.
Man.
Jake lied.
Or Jake.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've cleared our crystals, but you mentioned how there's kind of bad vibes you can't fully get rid of.
Right.
So sometimes you also have to cleanse your crystal.
That's right.
We talked about clearing, now we're talking about cleansing.
You do clearing first. Yeah.
You do clearing first. Okay. That's what you want to do. That's your number one thing, but sometimes you can't do it all the way, and then you got to cleanse. Because what cleansing does is it only reduces negative emotions so they don't affect you.
Okay.
Right? So, of course, like we said, there's no reason to do this if you can just clear the crystal instead. So, sometimes if you're just not as good at clearing, you can always cleanse to kind of just at least reduce it a little bit,
Yeah.
So if your crystal's being a real asshole, you can cleanse it, and then it's just kind of annoying.
What I hate is when I cleanse my crystal, but forget to clear it.
Yeah, you gotta... bad order. You gotta reverse it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so... we got a badass kind of invocation to do the clearing.
Right.
So what are we going to do with cleansing? It's got to be really cool, right?
Yep.
It's salt.
Oh, well.
So you submerge the crystal in dry salt or a saline solution for a day, and that's it.
That's nice.
Which doesn't make sense to me when I heard this. Because, if I'm kind of mad, right, and you submerged me in a saline solution for a day, I would be pretty irate. I would be pretty upset after that day. And so I don't know why a crystal would feel any better.
So exactly, since the body, the human body is, we've learned this already, is, quote, a series of synchronous, oscillating, solid, and liquid crystal systems anyway,
Yeah, exactly. So we can learn a lot about crystals when we learn about ourselves. Isn't that nice? Isn't that beautiful? We've cleared our crystals. We've cleansed the ones who are still kind of being shitheads. So now we can put away the dowsing rods and the salt rocks, and we can assemble our crystal kit.
Yes, finally.
Okay, so what do we need? Let's see here. We first need a crystal pendant situated near your heart chakra to stimulate your thymus into regulating your immune system. That's a lot going on here. So what I like here is that they're not using any heartbreak metaphor. It's science. It's the thymus. It's actually there.
The actual organ.
Yeah. But I think you're right, though, about the eating because the thymus is inside. We really need some crystal surgery to really just like a pacemaker, like a crystal pacemaker to kind of shove in there. So we also need laser clear crystals for intensive healing, energy amplification, psychic surgery, negativity cleansing, and balancing. So I like the energy amplification, because it's you got good emotions, but don't you want them to be bigger?
I'm sorry.
One weird trip and big in your emotions.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Did you say psychic surgery?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Psychic surgery.
Just want to make sure.
So, it's like surgery, but you don't
With your mind?
cut the body and you don't modify any of the organs in any way and you don't do anything.
Okay. So that type of surgery. Got it.
That type of... Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
And, it talked about balancing here. And I imagine it's like charm school, where you to improve your posture, you got to balance a crystal on your head and walk around without it falling off. I imagine that's the balancing part. So what else do you need? So you also need a pyramid.
Oh, well, obviously.
Not the kind built by aliens.
Oh.
That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the big old pyramids.
All right.
We're talking about a crystal pyramid.
Jesus.
Yeah. And what do they offer? They offer concentrated, amplified energy transmission for the home, office, factory, puja, which is a place of worship, I believe, and business place. By the way, that's a quote, which is why business place was involved there. And, so I live in Detroit, and so I imagine, like, if I was somebody who worked in, like, a car factory, and, like, management was like, hey, I got this quartz pyramid, in here to kind of, like, really living up the workplace, make it a nice place to live. I think I would join the Communist Party that day. I would say, nope, it's all over. We gotta take all your property. We gotta make it public. That's what we gotta do.
Well, everyone gets a crystal under communism, though. But it's like only a microscopic crystal. So enough only to heal like minor cuts and bruises. The leaders get giant houses made of crystals.
Yeah, that's
how that works.
It's the problem with communism. That's why it never worked. It's good in theory.
I never understood it unless it was applied to crystals. And then now I understand what's going on.
Yeah. That's
makes more
economics sense. Is easier to understand when you think about crystals. So these pyramids, they clear negativity of any kind.
Wow.
And they offer permanent positive energy for business growth, prosperity, relationship peace, and harmony.
Huh.
So again, I just am skeptical. I don't think, you bring this into the workplace. I don't think the relationship between worker and capitalist is going to be improved. And the second they bring them in, I have to say, workers of the world, amplify your energy.
Dude, dowsing rods sitting in the corners of rooms right now are exploding.
Oh, they are boom, blowing up.
Boom!
They feel that energy. They know what's going on. So we also need a mala or necklace, which is very different than a pendant.
Obviously. So it's like a necklace with the uppercase N.
Yep. What do these do? So a necklace provides abundant energy flow and fastest recovery confidence, creativity and energy, physical, mental, and emotional balancing, protection from evil effects, and negativity. Unfortunately, it won't help with spell check. You will need to consult your word processor for that. Next, you need a crystal ball and eggs. Which was like, eggs? The fuck? Like, I've heard of a crystal ball. Never heard of crystal eggs. And these are used for seeing the future.
Only for chickens, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, you can see.
It's only for chickens' features.
I see you will become a chicken tender. Sorry. My breaks. I was wondering, maybe the egg is for seeing the past.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, there's a kind of crystal chicken in the egg scenario going on. I don't know. Like crystal chicken, you can see the future. The egg, you can see the past. Maybe that would be vice versa. I'm not sure. Yeah. I am not a zoologist. But they also do more. You can also keep them in your pocket or purse for personal power and protection.
Okay.
The 5 Ps. Pocket, purse, personal power, and protection.
Pocket purse. Yeah.
Can you imagine carrying around a damn crystal ball in your pocket? God, I've got cargo shorts, but I don't think it's going to fit in there. We also need some idols. So the godly form of a crystal idol is what makes them most powerful.
Oh, okay.
So, what kind of crystal idol would you have? I'm thinking I'm going to have 3. David Lewis, Jean-Luc Picard, and George Costanza. I think those are my 3 crystal idols I'm going to have.
I don't know. Mine's Charles Darwin, Carl Sagan, maybe President Obama, huh?
Oh, nice.
Put it next to my President Obama chia pet thing. Remember that? Why did that exist?
I do remember that.
Why did that happen?
Was there
other presidents?
I feel like the Obama merchandise explosion that happened when he got elected was nuts. I've never seen that with any other president.
I did have a shirt. Immediate. I don't know where it is anymore, but they actually sold a mug that I fucking want so bad with his birth certificate on it. Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Have you seen that? That was official Obama merchandise.
Was it like a giant mug and it was like the long form?
That I don't know. And there was some joke about it. What?
That's awesome, though. I love that.
What a class act. Like, people thought he wasn't born in America because he's black. Like, right? Like, that's why.
So racist.
And like, just horrible. Clearly.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm going to put it on a mug because that's how cool I am. Next, what you need is, I don't fully know what this means.
Yeah.
A Sri Yantrameru.
There you go.
And some coin-shaped crystals. So the first thing, I don't know what that is. I've seen those letters in different words. Like, so I think it's like a spacing issue because it's all smooshed up on the IRM website. I found 2 things from Googling. One was a 3D thing that kind of looks like a temple. So I think that's maybe like a crystal
temple thing.
Temple Lego model kind of thing. Crystal Legos. That's what we need.
Yep, that's true.
And then the, let's see here. And then there's the coin-shaped crystals. Of course, what they do is they bring you money. Although I think I would opt maybe for the bill-shaped crystal.
Yeah.
Maybe the gold bar-shaped crystal. I think they would be more effective.
That's exactly right. These people don't realize that, sure, the coin-shaped crystal will bring you money, but only lots and lots of pennies. So they'll just fall in your, in between your couches and stuff. You'll be spending your days at that Coinstar machine, just more of a nuisance than anything, actually.
Yeah. Getting the Amazon gift card so you don't have to pay that fee. Big Coinstar. There's also a Surya solar power crystals, I assume. Again, and I could find even less on this. And I could find, there were solar panels called Surya, like Surya brand solar panels. Okay. And then there's also Surya crystal gas burners, which I don't know. So I guess you can cook a mean veggie burger with one of these and, really get your chakras going.
Yeah. And it
definitely
gives
your stomach chakra.
That's true. It gives a whole new meaning to clean energy.
Exactly. The free energy from the crystals. That's what we really need to be using.
That's right.
And the next is a double Terminator crystal.
Hey!
Which seems pretty intense. It's useful for distance healing energy. So that's good.
Does that mean it heals you of being sad or being so far away from someone you love? Or is it more like you can heal from a distance? You can heal something from a distance. Like you're in LA and you need something healed in Tokyo. So
I think it's the latter.
That means? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But,
I could be wrong. But I think, if you want to, so you want to be a crystal healer, you want to charge people ridiculous amounts of money for these services. Right. You can just, do it over Skype.
Yeah, I like it. Yep.
And so what does it mean, though? Because it sounds terrifying, like the double Terminator crystal. And it doesn't mean a whole lot. It's just a crystal that's pointy on both ends. That's what it means. It's kind of like the final, what I think of as the Final Fantasy crystal, where it's just the flat surfaces and then it's the pencil point on each end.
Right.
That's what it is. And last but not least, you'll need a pendulum for dowsing.
Obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
I already have that. Yeah.
And so with that ends part 1 of our series on crystal healing. So, Brent, what did you learn? Did you learn anything this episode?
Well, I learned I need to brush up on my 101 and 102.
Yep.
And, I would like to... I should have gotten my master's and tried to bring more of the healing aspect back into UNLV, teach the students the real stuff about crystals, actually. Because, a lot of these people, a lot of these geologists just don't know, and that's the problem. So I think if we could, they could listen to this podcast, maybe I can send this to some of my old professors. Actually, I probably shouldn't do that. They'd be like, what the fuck? I taught you nothing. But, actually that would backfire probably. But,
sometimes the student has to be the teacher.
That's right.
And sometimes, you'll be the Galileo of mineralogy and geology, I think.
Yes.
I think you can really bring something powerful to those fields.
Mystical mineralogy. Yeah.
Mystical mineralogy. I like it. Alternative mineralogy.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yep. What did you learn?
What did I learn? Some of the history stuff was fun.
Yeah.
The Roman soldiers are real gullible.
Yeah.
Thinking they're invincible. That, again, easily disconfirmed. You just need one spear. That's all you need. The things I learned is the kind of the sociological stuff about, and because we did this because of our, friend of the podcast, Perry Drew, recommended it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize that there was this big boon in crystal stuff over literally the past year and a half or so.
Right. Yeah.
And kind of seeing that stuff and getting sick to my stomach reading about the spiritual marketplace, that's kind of terrible, but also, it's a good thing to know, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you, what's kind of on, we don't want to spoil it, but do we have sort of a hint we could talk about for the next podcast of where we're heading for the rest of this, or should we keep it under wraps?
For the rest of the series, we can, we didn't sort talk too much about, I think we're laying the prep work, we're laying the groundwork.
The lattice work.
Yeah, we're the lattice structure. We're beginning the first thin slice of the lattice structure. And because I know people are chomping at the bit.
Oh, yeah.
How do you actually, we want to heal people.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get more into the how you actually do it.
Good.
And then we're also going to hear some alternative takes.
Oh.
There are some disagreements from the secular and religious communities about some of the crystal healing stuff. So we're going to hear from them. Some good viewpoints. We're fair and balanced. We give an equal hearing. That's what this podcast is really about. And with that, so you can contact us. Our Instagram is @NoneDareCallItOrdinary. We're also on Reddit a little bit. So good. There is a None Dare Call Ordinary user on Reddit, which I believe is right now just me. Not doing very much, I'm going to admit, but I'm just, it's out there. And then we've got an email address, nonedarecallitordinary@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us about how crystals healed your autoimmune diseases. Tell us about how you wear a bike helmet while you're riding a horse. If you're our German listeners, if you're our international listeners, talk to us. I would really like it if you don't actually know us. Because that's what I'm trying to get. Like, how many of our listeners are non-friends? Friends? Yeah. So I don't want to say that because you are our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Not friends we don't know we have.
Right.
If you're a friend we don't know we have, let us know. Drop us a line. I'd be really... I just don't want to get spam. So far, I think 100% of the email has been spam from people telling us that we can go viral, and if we just pay them too much money, we'll get listeners.
Which is
I want to hear from a listener.
It kind of makes sense, actually. We talk about all kinds of con artistry, and then boom, spam. Nice.
Yeah, we're the victims. We need to do an episode on
of
spam.
Ourselves. Yeah,
it sounds like what we need to do. All right, well, with that out of the way, and with all the crystal healing knowledge we could pack into one episode out of the way, stay tuned for part 2, and until then, we are done!
Go get your crystal.